Hey you guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be trying out the brand new Colourpop Resting Beach Face collection. This is their new summer collection, and I'm going to be showing you guys close-ups and swatches of everything. So I hope you guys are all excited about today's video. If you are, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's go ahead and do close-ups and swatches of everything that comes in this new Colourpop collection. So first up in this collection, we have the new Gettin Fresh 30 Pan Mega Palette. When I saw this palette, I got so excited. I just think this is such a fun color story, especially for the summertime. I'm not usually big into greens, but I feel like the greens in this palette are really pretty. So this palette is their newest mega palette that has greens, warm metallics, earth tones, pops of peaches, and corals. So I usually swatch mega palettes in like sections up and down, like going this way. So I'm first going to swatch this row right here, or column, whatever you guys want to call it. First up is the shade Striking, Slick, Cereal. Wow, that one's so pretty. Open, Goosebumps, Literally Me, The Point, Dressed Up, 2 a.m. Call. Wow, that one is very metallic. And Funny Story. Alright, so here are swatches of the first two columns. These all look gorgeous. I'm like super interested in the color story. As I said earlier, even though I'm not big into greens, I just feel like these greens are like really pretty. They're kind of like yellowish greens. Moving on to the center two columns. First up is the shade On the Outs, Gone Bad, Endless, That's Life, Kickback. Okay, another very metallic creamy shade. Beggin' You, More and More, No Doubt, Do Your Thing, and Hot Take. Alright, so here are swatches of the center two columns. I think these are going to be my favorite shades in the palette. I just really love the color story of these center two columns. I think these shades are gorgeous. I love the like pink shades with the yellowy green shades. Alright, moving on to these last two columns. First up is the shade O, Freak, Lost in It, Wild In, Okay Wow, Drama Class, Catch Feelings, Genuine, Hands Down, and Soft Launch. Alright, so here are swatches of the last two columns. I'm really excited about this palette, you guys, because I feel like there are so many different looks that you can create with it. I feel like this is a much more unique palette than Colourpop has come out with like in a while. So yeah, these shades are also gorgeous. Also in this collection, we have 6 shades of their matte bronzer. So here's what the bronzers look like. These are pretty big, and here is one of the shades. I would love to swatch all of the shades for you guys to show you, but that would be wasteful because I do not need the deeper shades. So yeah, I'm only going to swatch the ones that I'm going to be keeping, which obviously I'm going to be keeping this first one because it's kind of a more like cool tone shade. So there's that shade. I'm thinking this is the only other one that I'm going to keep because it is more of like a warm tone shade. So yeah, here's this shade. So there are those two shades. Then the other ones that I'm not keeping, this one is Summerland Beach. Here is what this shade looks like. We also have Silver Strand Beach. Here is this shade. Moonlight Beach, and Pacific Beach. Also in this collection, we have 6 shades of these So Glassy lip glosses. First up, we have the shade La Jolla, Solana, Newport, Huntington, Dana Point. Okay, mine's actually broken. That's really interesting. That's never happened before. Okay, I'm gonna stick a brush down in there, I guess. And lastly, we have San Clemente. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So here are all of the shades in the lip glosses. All right, now we're gonna move on to the demo part of this video where I'm going to create these 2 eye looks for you guys. I'm also going to try out the bronzers and then do lip swatches of all of the lip glosses. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and start out with the eyes first. I wanna create 2 different looks. I wanna do a more like warm toned eye with the kind of like reddish browns and then the pinks, like this kind of corally pink shade. And then I also want to do another look with the greens. So yeah, we're going to start with the eyes first and then we'll go in with the bronzer and then the lip products later. So I'm going to go ahead and take some eye primer and just put this all over my lids. This one is from P. Louise. I'm going to do one eye at a time just because I like my base a little bit tacky. And if I put down the base on both eyes, it will just get dry on the other eye while I do this one. So I'm first going to pick up this shade right here. This one is called O. And with a big fluffy brush, I'm just going to kind of tap this all in the crease. Because my base is tacky, I like to tap the eyeshadow on first. And then once I feel like it's nice and like kind of set, I will start swirling my brush to blend. Now I'm going to pick up the shade right here called Gone Bad. For me, this shade just really pops in the palette, so I do want to use this one, like, I don't know, to make my whole eye kind of like pink and coral. So I like to just place the color on the outer corner and then I will start blending up into my crease just because I want to make sure I don't go too high with this. I really love a good pink eyeshadow, so this shade is super nice. Now I am going to kind of go over this again in a minute and add some darker shades, but first I'm going to take some concealer and just carve out the shape that I want for my lid. You guys know I always like to do this, and you can always blend the shades back over, so it's okay if I cover them up a little bit for now, but I want to go ahead and get the shape how I want it. So I'm first going to pick up this shade right here called Beggin' You, and I'm just going to put this all on the inner part of the lid. Such a pretty shade, but it is a little bit chunky, so there is some fallout on the face. Now I'm going to pick up the shade Do Your Thing, and I'm just going to put this one down the center of the lid. And now I'm going to take Kickback, and this one I'm just going to kind of run it along the outer part of the lid. This one is that like really creamy metallic shade, so I'm going to try and apply some with my finger because I feel like it's not going on the best with a brush. Yeah, it definitely applies better with a finger. Okay, so once I have my lid shades how I want them, I'm going to go back in first with the corally pink shade, and I'm just going to blend this all along the edges of those shimmer shades just to kind of bring the color back out because I feel like it got kind of covered up. Now I do want to deepen up my outer corner, so I think I'm going to mix like these 2 shades together just because they're kind of warm tone shades that kind of go with the look. So I'm just going to tap into a little bit of those shades, and I'm just going to start concentrating this right on the outer corner. Also going to press those 2 dark shades along the lower lash line. And then once I kind of have that down, I'm just going to grab like the pink and start blending this along the lash line as well. Then on a little tiny brush, I just grabbed the shade that I used like furthest up in my crease. And I'm just going to use this to kind of blend all of those shades together. Alright, so here is eye look number 1 complete. I like how the look turned out. It's not like my favorite look I've ever done, but I really like the shades, especially for the summertime. I feel like it's a fun look that's kind of like bright, but still wearable for the summer. So now I'm going to go ahead and prime my other lid so we can do a green eye. And you guys know that I'm not like super big into greens, but actually the greens in this palette like surprised me. Like I feel like they're very pretty and they make me want to do a green eyeshadow look. So I'm first gonna pick up this shade right here. This is a matte with some shimmer in it, so I'm hoping the shimmer kind of blends away. I know that I always complain about the mattes with shimmer, but then someone told me that the glitter in here is supposed to like help with the blending. This is a very interesting shade. It's a really like light yellowy green shade. Now I'm gonna pick up the shade right here called Lost in It, and I'm just going to start by tapping this and then blending it into my crease. I'm gonna keep this shade a little bit lower than the last one. Now I'm going to grab this brown right here called That's Life, and I'm just going to tap this on the outer corner and then once again blend it at the crease, trying to keep it a little bit lower as well. Now I'm going to grab the shade called Hot Take, and this is going to deepen up the outer corner, and this is like green shade. It's kind of like a really dark kind of olivey green, so I feel like that's going to help kind of tie in the greens that I want to put on the lid. So I'm just going to work this in to the crease with a little tiny brush. So once again, I am going to go over the crease shades once I have my lid shades down. So I'm going to take my concealer again, just because I always like to put concealer down before I put down shimmery shades. I just feel like they show up a little bit better. And yeah, I'm just going to kind of map out how I want the shape of my lid to look. So first for my lid, I'm going to pick up this shade right here. This is the shade Striking, and it's like a duochrome that looks like a champagne shade, but it actually has green like glitter in it. So I feel like that'll be perfect to kind of brighten up this inner corner area, but then also tie the green into the rest of the shades. See, it kind of shows up green. I hope you guys can see that on camera. Like when you tilt your head, it definitely looks green. Ooh, I really like that shade. Now I'm gonna pick up the shade On the Outs. There's so many good shimmery green shades in this palette, and I'm just going to start applying that right next to the first shade. And then I'm gonna take the shade Wild In. So now I'm going to go back in with the crease shades that I used, and I'm just going to go over everything to make sure it's nice and blended, and I want to deepen back up the like line along the crease and the outer corner area just because I kind of covered everything up with these shimmery shades. I'm going to take this shade right here called The Point. I just have to use this shade because it's super fun. I'm going to just kind of blend this all along the lower lash line. Then I'm going to add some of that dark green, and I'm just going to kind of press this like right up against the lash line. That did not quite turn out how I was hoping it would, so I'm hoping we can like fix that, maybe bring some color from the inner corner out this way because that looks like a mess right now. So I actually think I am going to use this lime green, and I'm going to put this in the inner corner and then kind of bring it over onto the lower lash line, hopefully to cover up that craziness that I just did with those other two shades. I feel like the palette needs like a medium green that's a matte. Then I'm also going to add this shade right here, right on top of the shade in the inner corner, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. It'll still look green since this is a duochrome, but it'll be a little lighter. All right, so here is the green eyeshadow look. I really liked it until I got to the lower lash line, and I just don't like the way that that ended up looking, but that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the bronzers. I'm really excited to try these out. So these are the two shades that I decided to keep and that I swatched. I think I'm gonna go in with the more cool toned bronzer. This one I just feel like will have, I don't know, a better undertone for me. So even though this is a cool tone shade, it definitely still has warmth to it. It has good pigmentation. Okay, so I feel like that blended very nicely. The pigmentation is really good. It's not like overly pigmented, but it's like just enough where it blends very nicely. It looks very smooth, and it also blended very easily. All right, so last thing we need to try out is the lip glosses, and I'm not like super big into the Colourpop lip gloss formula. I'm hoping these are different. I just feel like they're very like sticky and thick, so I'm hoping these are not like that. I think I'm gonna start with the darker shades just because I don't know if I'm gonna like these. So first up we have the shade San Clemente. I really hope I'm not butchering that. All right, so actually this shade surprised me a little bit. I thought I was going to like hate it, but I feel like it looks really pretty on the lips. Next we have Dana Point, and since mine is broken, I'm going to have to use a brush. So here is this shade. It definitely looks a lot better on the lips than it does like just in the bottle. I feel like these look very intimidating, just like looking at them like this, but then they're definitely much more wearable whenever you put them on the actual lip. And these don't feel like super sticky like I remember the Colourpop glosses usually feeling, so that is good. Next up we have the shade Huntington. All right, so here is this shade, a really pretty one. I actually like this one a lot. I love that we have like a different like nude shade for every skin tone with these glosses. I was just reading also, I'm like super dumb right now. This is a new gloss formula from Colourpop, which makes sense why I like this one because it's not as sticky. It definitely feels like more of a hydrating gloss. So yeah, I am so glad they decided to come out with a new lip gloss formula because I did not like their other one. Next up, I'm going to swatch the shade La Jolla, which is the lightest shade. So here's this shade. I was a little bit worried about it. I thought it was going to be like unwearable because it's like super light, but it's a really nice peachy nude shade. And yeah, I actually do like that one. I thought I wasn't going to like it, but I feel like it looks really nice. I feel like this one would be really good over a lip liner or lipstick. Next, we have the shade Solana. So this one is similar to the last one. It's just a little bit darker and more beige tone. This is another really good one that would go over lip gloss or a lip liner very nicely. And lastly, we have the shade Newport. So here is this shade. I saved this one for last because I had a feeling it was going to be my favorite, and it definitely is. I feel like it's a very flattering nude shade on my skin tone, and I really like this one a lot. So yeah, that is everything that comes in the new Colourpop Resting Beach Face collection. I'm actually like very impressed with this collection because I feel like they did like something different. Like the new Mega palette, I love this. First of all, I love the packaging. I love this kind of like holographic text here, and the pattern on the palette is super cute. First of all, I love their Mega palettes just because they have so many shadows in them. And with this palette, there are so many different looks you can create with it. And I love the greens in here, the pinks, the warm tone shades, and this palette just makes me want to create like a fun, bright look for the summertime. So I'm so excited about that. And then I also really liked the bronzers that came in this collection. I think the formula is really nice. I love that it has a big pan. The palette is a little bit bulky and big. Like this would be difficult to travel with, so I almost wish the packaging was a little bit smaller, but it kind of reminds me of like Marc Jacobs packaging, but like a cheaper version, obviously. But yeah, I really liked the bronzer. I thought that those bronzers were really nice. They blended easily. They had good pigmentation. They look smooth on the skin. And then I am so glad that Colourpop came out with a new lip gloss formula. These are supposed to be more of a glossy look than their regular lip glosses, if that makes sense. It's supposed to be like super shiny lip gloss, which you can definitely tell it is very shiny. I did not like the old Colourpop lip gloss formula. I thought it was like very thick and I don't know, just kind of like balled up on the center of my lips. I don't notice these doing that so far. So I am so glad there is a new lip gloss formula. And I love that we have a nude shade for like every skin tone, so that is really nice. So yeah, I would definitely give this new Colourpop collection a thumbs up. It is one of the more exciting collections I personally feel like that they have come out with recently. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and if you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also make sure you have your notifications turned on, that way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.